This is review. I did this last night super quick, and also I just decided I'm not going to talk about the food, but I was going to do a coffee cake and decided, nope, don't need to do that. I'm going to do a quick one because I want to take it easy today. So I have a different setup here. All right, improving memory. All right, so this is how you remember, I guess. And yeah. So why do people want to improve memory? Well, if you have a good memory, I guess it makes you smarter. There's a strong thing about if you studies show that if you have better memory, you have a better test scores, grades, conversation, you name it. So I guess that people who have bad memory can hang out with each other, and I mean, I'm not going to go into the opposite end of the extreme here. So this is a good example of a brain, and people study the brain and try to figure out how do people remember. It's very mysterious still. There's a common misconception that just because we're living in sugar in the modern age that we know everything about everything. We do not, and it's good to know the limits of what is known. So the point being that if we really knew how to make everybody super smart and have great memories, then we would do it. But I'm just giving an example of the brain. There's different parts of the brain. They do different things in different parts of the brain. What am I even going to make here? Choco chips. That sounds good. I think I just made that the other day. Almond. Okay, and that's good. Fitting because the parietal lobe, not parietal, that's Einstein's thingy. What do you call it? Anyway, it looks like an almond when you dissect a brain, and it's noticeable because everything else is gray except for there's one thing that's like a darker color. Anyway, the early Greek dudes were like, hey, this must be where everything happens. Okay, no, there's no particular reasons. Like, for example, when you're hearing, it's over here. When you're seeing, it's actually back here. Your eyes are considered part of your brain sometimes, but at any rate, so I'm going to explain the experiment. So how do you know anything about the brain? And even as recently as the 2000s, the technology to study this has really increased, and now we have these electrode stuff. And at any rate, oh right, I was going to do this. Gotta take a minute here. This is really not a funny presentation. It's kind of disappointing. I was kind of looking for a joke. And there is a monkey on a cell phone, and that explains this experiment really well. So the idea is that they were doing tests on monkeys too, like with the brain scan technology, and figuring out what parts of the brain that the brain. It's not like we can watch the brain with its pieces moving around, but what you can do is figure out what's happening where. And so they were doing this to monkeys and to figure out how they remember things, because it turns out like if you hide a banana under a cup and you flip the cups around, then they'll be like, oh yeah, you just put the banana there. They scan the brain while perceiving. They know that the monkey sees the banana here, and then they do a reset. And so they tell the monkey, okay, look over here. So like, for example, say the monkey's looking at a cell phone now. They do this with dots on a screen. And then the monkey remembers where it is, because well, they don't remember where it is because they just reset the monkey. And so now it doesn't know where it is by just where its whole body is looking at the banana. Now it reset, it's looking at here, and then they scan the brain again and see if it remembers where the banana. So here's the screen. Where was the dot? And this actually is kind of dumb, because like when you think that different parts of the brain are active when you're remembering different stuff, well, this is very early stages of being able to study anything really about the brain and seeing it, how it works. I mean, who would have ever thought that was something that you could do? Now they're even like scanning people while they're like remembering what is that? Not Waterloo. The Alamo. Remember the Alamo. Where's the nuts I'm looking for? I don't really need the nuts. That's a good point. You know what? I'm just going to make peanut butter instead of almond. Get through this stupid thing. It's not even interesting. It's like memory, and then all they do is like figure out where people were looking at dots. So these are the technologies that you use in order to get these results. I'm going to crack the eggs into here. The point being that you can tell what functions different parts of the brain have, and they gain pretty high resolution, really seeing where stuff is active when you're looking at this dot and that dot. I mean, if you're looking at a dot over here and a dot over here, they're like totally different parts of the brain somehow. I mean, not totally, but there's like 300,000 neurons in the brain. That may be incorrect, but at any rate, there's a 3 in there. And maybe like 2 orders of magnitude off. But like more. I mean, I think there may be even more. So it's more than at least 300,000, maybe 30 million, something like that. And that's how many puzzle pieces there are. Don't do the tests. Working memory. So that's how you can tell. Practice? Where's my picture? What? I think I had a cool picture for. I guess I didn't even have a picture for practice. Training memory consistently makes better memory. Well, that's good. Okay. Concentrating. So even the ancient people knew how to remember things without even writing it down, because they didn't even have the written word for a lot of human history up until 5,000 years ago. No, actually more like 3,000 years ago. I know that seems weird, but 5,000 years ago, people were still remembering things without writing it down. And they have techniques for this that are written in the Upanishads about you, more recent than that too, but the point is that you can really remember much better if you're relaxed a little and simultaneously concentrating. So this is kind of that, like what I was talking about. But yeah, one technique is that if you see something, then at the same time, this is almond butter. I want to. That's nice stuff. Clearly, I'm struggling today. I'm not struggling today. It's all a mindset, right? So the imagination, I am struggling. The struggle is conquered. Okay, because I found a knife. So this is a cool technique, and supposedly the mental Olympians, they're called. Look it up. They're good at remembering stuff, and they like have competitions every year. This is a good point of humility. Legitimately, I'm not that good. I can't even remember somebody I met like 3 times. I'm like, who the hell are you? So this is loci are called like a locus is a, I think thing. I'm not going to explain what it is because it's anything. But what you do is you remember something. Oh wait, let me go back. Okay, you remember something and then you get another memory device. You add an imagination to it, and then you can remember it better. So if somebody says, "Hello," then you can remember it's like sounds like hippo, and then that's the first thing you remember about the conversation, and then that's how you remember it, is that it sounded like something else. And I haven't practiced this much, but supposedly not math, who cares about math? Supposedly mental Olympians, look, I care about math. I learned that the definition of a fact is if it has number plus statement, but no, a statement includes a number. No, I'm saying something else. A fact is number plus something. So in order to remember, not a fact, in order to remember some event, then you make a bunch of things that are related to it. So like a hippo, right? I don't know why I'm doing a hippo. The hippocampus, because I was looking at pictures of the brain, and that's the lowest part of the brain. Like the brain stem and everything is in the hippocampus. And I think, or the medulla oblongata, that's where you control all the breathing and all the basic dumb stuff, and that's pons and all that. PONS. Okay, so you divine them. I don't really know how you remember all this stuff because I haven't practiced it yet. But supposedly these mental Olympians have a whole house going, and then they remember everything because they walk around in their imaginary house when they're talking to you, supposedly. Because face it, a lot of people are really not that interesting when you're talking to them, so you got to do it for yourself. And every now and then you have to be like, okay, yes, I'm paying perfect attention to you, and now I'm sharing my story and I'm giving you some legitimate facts about it. Then I walked up some stairs and then this. but you're not telling it like that. You're telling it like regular person talk, but this is all in your imagination, supposedly. And then you get some lines of action, and that's how people remember long streams of words and numbers, and supposedly that's how they do it. I think it's kind of interesting. The point being that you can improve your memory if you do some practicing and all that. Now everybody wants the easy fix, and maybe someday we have that, but also definitely we can get like some virtual reality to help us out, and we can get all sorts of techniques to help you remember. But for regarding recall and all that, it's really easy if you just walk it through again, and you kind of have some idea about what's going to happen. So what does this have to do with anything? Oh, I don't know why I was trying to tie in the biology to it. That was what this entire book was about. I read books a lot, but I read this one book the other day, last night, and then I said, okay, you know what? I'm just going to make like a little book report and see if I can't do a decent job, except they didn't include all this loci stuff, like the locus, which I find a sort of a useful psychological topic, because obviously triggers are a pretty big psych topic, and so when you see a bull, what do you think? I think that Escher painted it. I don't know. Okay, done.